This is probably the most awkward video I've ever filmed in my life, but I figured it was about time I introduced myself. If you've watched my journey on any of my social medias, you'll know that it's been chaotic. I was just about to turn 25 and I had no purpose, no aim, and no direction. Me and my little anxiety little brain that can't talk to strangers decided to pack up my life into a suitcase and flee the country. I have done things this year that I never thought would have happened, but I had already applied for a visa in Canada. So I have had, because I kind of made the decision already, a big decision on what to do. Hi, my name's Georgia. I'm 25 years old. I'm Australian and I'm currently traveling in Canada. This is probably the most awkward video I've ever filmed in my life, but I figured it was about time I introduced myself. So, 6 months ago, I quit my job and bought tickets to Canada. The only thing that I had booked was Banff. I was basically just off the fly, traveling, no plans apart from the fact that I was going to rent a car and sleep in it. I was traveling alone in a foreign country, but I was so excited. Now, if you've watched my journey on any of my social medias, you'll know that it's been chaotic, but that is my life, so we expect these things. But I've had a blast. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my life before coming to Canada, my life now, and where I want my life to go. You know, it might help you decide if you want to watch my channel or know what I'm kind of about. So my whole life, I did things that I was supposed to do to have a structured, normal life. I was going through the motions, you know. I finished high school, I went to university, I got a job in my field. I was doing all the things. The next step would have been finding a man, getting married, buying a house, having kids, all that stuff. I was on that train of life. But I thought I had the man, and it wasn't a good situation for myself, and so it ended. So I was homeless, essentially, and living with friends and family, living out of a suitcase. I no longer enjoyed my job about 6 months into my job, and I'd only been working for 6 months. It didn't feel like a good sign. And I was just about to turn 25, and I had no purpose, no aim, and no direction. I felt like my train that had been going on this path for so long had just derailed, and I had no plan. Now, in talking to people and learning things about life and about myself, I've learned that your 20s is actually really difficult because you go from having this structure your whole life to all of a sudden you need to figure out what you're going to do, but you need to do it completely by yourself. And you don't really know who you are because you haven't lived enough life yet, but you kind of expected to because that's how life goes. And no one prepares you for this uncertainty and this horrible feeling that you get until you're having a crisis, and then all of your friends and family start telling you about this horrible feeling. So here I am telling you that it's okay. If you are in your 20s or 30s or 40s or whatever, and you feel like you have no direction, no purpose, it's okay. It happens to the best of us. Not saying that I'm the best person, but I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. All I learnt was that the path that I was on derailed for a reason, because it wasn't what I needed for myself. Do I know what I need? No. But I'm on a journey to figure out who I am, what I want, and where I want to be in my future, because it's not where I was 6 months ago. And I feel like I've already grown so much as a person. So what led me here? Like I said, I did the whole high school, university work plan. I didn't go straight from high school to university because at the end of my high school period, I was really struggling with my mental health. I had really bad anxiety and depression that I didn't really know at the time was depression. I knew the anxiety was anxiety. And it came in so many forms. Like, it was everything from social anxiety. I couldn't talk to people that I didn't know. I found it really difficult to, like, being stressed about the tiniest things and just having like this paralyzing anxiety over doing the simplest tasks. Like, it was just horrible. It was really hard to do stuff. So I wasn't ready after I finished high school to go straight to university, but I also wasn't in a position to go traveling by myself because I probably would have gotten lost in some foreign country and just like had a meltdown. So I stayed home and I worked and I tried to pretend that everything was fine and just go into university the next year. So I started university in 2019 and was at uni for 5 years. Now, when I started university, I was doing engineering. When I finished university, I had a degree in nutrition and dietetics, not engineering. So even then, I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea about anything. I got a job. I worked for a year. I don't even know if I want to be a dietitian. I was there for 5 years. But that is okay, I think. I hope. Anyway, so most of my university was also not according to plan, in the sense that I started university in 2019 and I was at uni for 5 years. So most of my university career or like time was heavily during COVID. Now, I know it was like a big thing. We don't talk about it. The way Australia was quite restricted. So we had lots of rules and regulations in the country. You couldn't really come and go as you please. Traveling wasn't really a thing during that time. And also it was quite isolating because we weren't allowed to leave the house very often. There were restrictions on things like that. University was closed. So most people at uni, you get to meet friends and have classes with people and go and get coffee with people and things like that. And I spent most of my university sitting at a desk in my bedroom studying and having Zoom calls. Now, if you've ever sat on a Zoom call, you'll know that stuff is so hard to pay attention because no one's actually watching you. We don't have our cameras on. I'm sitting there in my pajamas 9 times out of 10. Wouldn't recommend doing that. If you ever have Zoom calls, get dressed. It helps you concentrate. But like, uni was hard for me to concentrate anyway. And so I really struggled the whole time. And I came out of university and all these people that I knew had all these friends from university because they'd somehow connected or they knew each other from outside, or I don't even know. And I didn't really talk to anyone because my anxiety before going to university was bad, but then it got worse during COVID because I didn't have to talk to anyone. So I was never pushed out of that comfort zone. And then I finished and I just like was struggling. I got better when I went into working because you have to be able to talk to strangers in order to be a dietitian. You have to hear about lots of people's problems and everything to help them. And I loved my job, I did. But I found it quite stressful. There was lots of factors that went into it. The fact that I was struggling with my eating and my relationship with myself and all of that was really bad at that time. It was also the fact that my relationship at the time kind of self-destructed. I'm sure there's different opinions on that, but that's the best way to say it. And I essentially had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I tried everything too. I hit 25. I got tattoos. I chopped my hair short. I got bangs, like full bangs. If you go back in my Instagram and things, you'll see them. And I didn't hate the bangs, by the way. I loved it. I think I'm just over it and I need to grow my hair out. But yeah, I tried everything and I couldn't swing it. And my aunt one day sat me down and said, "Are you happy?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Why are you 25 years old and unhappy? You have so much of your life to figure out what you want and try new careers, try new options, try new pathways. Just go and do it." And so I did. Me and my little anxiety little brain that can't talk to strangers decided to pack up my life into a suitcase and flee the country. And do you know what I had to learn? I have done things this year that I never thought would have happened. Firstly, I had to meet strangers and make friends. And I have made so many friends on this trip, some of which I initiated conversation, which has never happened before. That is wild. I had to direct myself across a country. I had no plan. I was planning day by day. There were days where I didn't have anywhere to sleep the next day and I was just winging it. And that was wild because back home, I was so type A. Like, I need to know everyone's like, "Oh, just go with the flow." Like, I'm the kind of person that needs to know the plan and when it's starting and to get there early. And I was so controlling and everything about every little detail. Here, I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I'm by myself. I have no other reason to be stressed. This is my cat. I don't know if you can even see him, but he's come to say hi. This is Ouija. Anyway, that was a distraction. And other things, riding a horse. I never thought I'd be able to do that. And I can do it pretty well. I learned how to two-step. I danced with strangers. I helped deliver a foal. I have been to so many rodeos and I plan to go to so many more. And I have had the time of my life. You can't do that. And I can't wait to see where it goes. Now, if you have seen my social media recently, that might be how you know me. You will know that whilst I was in Canada, I met a boy. And we hadn't been dating for that long. Like, my family didn't really even know that I was dating him yet. But we did break up and it was heartbreaking. And I'm doing better now. It's been like a couple weeks, but I still have days where it's really, really hard and it's horrible. It's not fun. But I had already applied for a visa in Canada. So I have had, because I kind of made the decision already, a big decision on what to do. I could make it work and figure it out until I got my visa and just keep staying in Canada, or I could go home, or I could go to a different country, or I could go to Australia and then come back. So what I've decided for now is I'm going to keep the visa process going so that I can come back, and I'm going to go back to Australia. There's a few things in Australia that I've missed. My family is a big one, and my friends is a big one as well. Like, I have lots of friends here and I love being here and I love the experience, but there's something about like having a hug from your mum that just heals everything, and I so need that right now. So that's one reason I'm going home. Another reason is I've run out of lollies. My mom sent me Allen's and I ran out, and I'm devastated. I'm having withdrawals. So I need to go home to get snacks. And also I realized in my traveling Canada and being able to talk about Australia and express how much I love it and teach people about Australia and talk about it, I haven't experienced as much of Australia as I would like to. So one of my goals, I suppose, going back home is to try and travel while I'm there, to see people, meet new people there, see places that I've never seen, and just learn more about home before I go out and explore the world again. I'm so excited to see where this new version of myself goes, and to hopefully grow into a different, better, stronger version of myself that's not always about to cry on the internet. But I hope that I continue making videos, and that I have people that follow my journey and see that it's okay to not know what you're going to do with your life and to be lost, because sometimes being lost is what you need in order to find yourself. And that is what I'm going to take with me through the rest of the year. So if you like this video, please like it. Subscribe to my channel to follow me on for all of my adventures. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything, let me know in the comments.